Hey guys, Shurum here, and today I'm going to be testing the 2022 Aston Martin Vantage V12 at Golden Max in multiplayer in Asphalt 9. Please consider subscribing if you have not already, and be sure to check out my Shurum Clips channel, Shurum TV channel, and the Purple Team Discord. Links to all those will be down in the description, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This season has taken me on a bit of a wild ride. When I first drove this car, I kinda hated it, if I'm being honest, and if you drive it for a few times, especially in its Grand Prix, for example, at very low stars, you'll understand why. The car, while decently fast for Class D, I believe only perhaps the TVR is faster, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But aside from that, the rest of its stats aren't that great. In particular, its drifting ability is quite bad, and it's what turned me off to this car for a very long time. It was only after I drove probably a couple dozen races in this multiplayer season that I actually began to get a bit accustomed to it, and in this video, you will see 6 sequential races that I played in Master League in this car in its Gold Max season. And these were definitely some of the most intense races that I played after coming back from my break, which I talked about in my previous video. This car's other stats are somewhat unremarkable. The nitro efficiency is pretty bad, although slightly better than the TVR. And I would say its best stat, besides the top speed, is probably the acceleration, which is pretty good for Class D. Not one of the best or anything, but pretty good. Better than the TVRs. In my live stream this past weekend, I talked a bit about this, how I really didn't like driving the car, but, I was going to make a video about it anyway, but I had forgotten to actually start the Grand Prix, but I wasn't too sad about that because I didn't really like it anyway. And I still don't really think this is a car that would be very useful for me to go for, since I still think the TVR is going to be probably better overall, and I have it at gold. And even if I did get this car in its Grand Prix, I mean, it would probably be at low stars, because it's not a car I want to spend a bunch of tokens on or anything like that. So, not really sad that I didn't, or that I basically gave up my chance to go for it. And here, I get one of the coolest stunts I've done in a while. Did not even plan to do that, I just went too far left. Or too far right, I guess. No, let's see. So I went too far left in the air on that barrel roll, leading for me to go too far right when I landed so as not to fall out of the map, and then getting that barrel roll. And here I accidentally did a 360, but in any case, we are still ahead of these cars here. But back to me not liking it. So in my live stream I was talking about that, and I believe it was Toxie in the live stream who said that he actually really enjoyed driving it. And I didn't understand that. After driving it a bit more, I can kind of. It's one of those cars that takes a while to get used to, but once you do, and you kind of learn how it feels, it's actually very consistent in what it does, in both its good stats and its bad stats. It's a fairly solid car to drive, never really had any physics issues or anything with it like that, which with D-Class cars you don't normally get. But yeah, it was just consistent in how it drove, and because of that, once I got to Platinum League, as you can see in these races here, I felt very comfortable driving it, which is not something that I would have told you a few days ago. And if I ever say Platinum instead of Master in this video, forgive me, they're both the 4th league that's purple, so I get them confused, and I kind of think about them interchangeably in my head. So pretty much the same thing. Not really, but you know what I mean. In this race on Nevada, we're facing Taylor Swift from Legions United, as well as Jafau BR, hope I pronounced his name correctly, from Pro Team, who I think we faced in every race, or almost every race in this video, and he was a very good opponent. So Jafau, if you're watching this, really enjoyed racing with you. Hope we get to meet again. So I mentioned something in my previous video about possibly giving bonus races of cars that I test to members, and I did test that actually after finishing recording last video just to see how it went. And it went decently well. A couple of the races I forgot to record audio in, but this time at the end of this video there will be an end card which will take you to a link to, I believe, 6 or 7 bonus races that I recorded in this car that didn't quite make the cut for this video, but were still good races nonetheless. So yeah, if you join at any level to be a member of this channel, you can gain access to those. And I plan to keep doing this for every single car that I test in the future. So yeah, there's going to be a good bit of bonus races that you'll find in there in the future. And just so y'all know, this isn't going to like affect my main videos in any way. They're not going to get shorter or anything like that. This is just purely extra races that would normally have hit the cutting room floor and never seen the light of day. Now they're at least somewhere. Now I want to address probably the most common question that I've gotten asked since I returned, or honestly in a couple months before I returned even, which is about Asphalt Legends Unite, which seems to have actually had a bit of confusion with it. Some people have thought that it's a new Asphalt game. No, it's not. So Asphalt Legends Unite will be a rebrand in a sense of Asphalt 9, an overhaul, if you will, where they're dropping the 9 from the name, which makes me wonder if they're even going to have another game in the Asphalt series, but that's just speculation at this point. Basically, they're going to be introducing a new sort of graphics engine, so you'll be able to see more reflections and things like that, and just improve lighting in general. There's also going to be I'm not exactly sure if it's a new game engine or just an improved version of what they already have, but the game engine is going to be changed somewhat. There's also going to be a number of new game modes. For example, there's going to be a co-op game mode, which is basically like the Drive Syndicate, if you will, where you're racing against the cops, but here, the cops will be other players. And also, not only that, but you'll finally, after long last, be able to play with your friends. So I'm assuming you'll be able to invite people to a lobby or something based on their player ID or something like that. We don't have too many details about each of these so far. We just have the Asphalt Legends Unite website, as well as a couple of trailers that Gameloft uploaded. So through those, we also know that the game is going to get a new look. They've basically completely updated the color scheme and everything, where now the game is going to be purple and yellow, which obviously, going with my channel colors, I really like. The downside, I guess, a little bit of what people have said is that the font that they chose isn't necessarily the greatest. It doesn't seem to necessarily fit the style of the game all that well, in my opinion. Some other people have said this too, so I know I'm not alone in that thought. But it doesn't necessarily look bad. I just think they could have chosen a better one. But of course, we'll have to wait and see for sure once it happens. I believe July 17th is the current date that they have scheduled to release this new overhaul of the game, Asphalt Legends Unite. Crossplay will also finally be introduced into the game, since it has been in Asphalt 8 for I think a couple years now, but is now coming to Asphalt 9, or Asphalt Legends Unite, I guess. Will be interesting to see what everyone calls it at that point. I feel like Asphalt 9 is still going to be the common name. But anyway, it'll be cross-platform, so you can probably basically just play with anyone wherever. We'll have to see how the Switch deals with that, though, because I think they're still a bit behind. But Asphalt 9 will be coming out on PlayStation. We'll be interested to see if it basically gets everything as it is now, if it starts behind like Switch did, but in any case, that's very cool. There's also going to be an upgraded garage, which is going to apparently allow you a way to showcase your cars. There was something like this all the way back in Asphalt 6, where you could place cars in like this 3D environment and kind of walk around and see them. I hope it's something like that. But in any case, that'll be pretty cool. I already know of a couple cars that I'm probably going to put there. And also, there's going to be a new track Singapore, which I'm looking forward to. I still have not gotten quite used to Norway yet, so I hope to learn that before they introduce Singapore. But those are most of the big features that I know of at this point that will be coming to the game. I'm sure there will be more about that soon. Now it's time for my general review of the Aston Martin Vantage V12. It is similar to the TVR in a lot of aspects, slightly slower, and has a bit worse handling and drifting, but the nitro efficiency slightly better, while still not great, and the acceleration's a bit better too. Likely a good competitor to the TVR, but not a new king. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt, Forza, and other games content. Be sure to check out the bonus races linked above, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!